What's up, YouTube? This is going to be a guide on how to use Tatsugiri in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'll be providing some competitive movesets and some fun meme movesets too. If there's a Pokemon guide you'd like me to do, let me know about in the comment section. And if you've got any other thing to add to this video, let me know. I will say this too, I have done a Dondozo guide already, so this is going to be more specifically on Tatsugiri as itself. If you want to know all about the Tatsugiri and Dondozo combination there, I have done the Dondozo how to use already, so you can check that out, and let's have a look at it. So, Tatsugiri, let's have a look at these stats here. We got a dragon and a water type, so a mini Palkia, I guess you could say. Now, with this strategy here, or with this set, we've got a mega special attack set, which is great, you know, really, really good. So first, you can see it as a special attacking Pokemon. Now, something to note here too, I have done a Brambleghast guide, and I've done a Bombirdier guide before this tonight. So if you haven't seen them, make sure you check it out if you're interested in those Pokemon. Back to this, we got a Storm Drain sweeping set here. So the item I've given it is heavy-duty boots, because it really does need its speed, and we've given it max speed and max special attack type of nature. I've got it Storm Drain here, which is really quite nice on a way to boost its special attack. But you're probably thinking, well, it's nice, but how are you going to be able to get this to work? Outside of doubles, I've got a way in singles to make this work. So we're going to be running here with Terra Ground, and we're going to go Terra Blast Ground. So with a Terra Ground, this will encourage the opponent to go for a water type move. And when you're a ground type move, obviously you're weak to, you know, grass, water, ice, things like that. So there is a chance you could get that Storm Drain to activate and give yourself a free special attack boost and free turn. The moves I've given it here, we got Stab Hydro Pump at 110 base power, which is very, very powerful. And I've given it Dragon Pulse too. This is a pure Nasty Plot sweeper, so these are going to be the main moves it's using. And if you feel like you need to Terra at the right time, you can do that. That'll be some good surprise there. And, you know, the opponent has a water type Pokemon still, well, maybe go for the Terra Blast against them and try and trick them with that. As for the other ability, Commander, that's more to do with Dondozo, and I'll be explaining Dondozo in the end of this video. I've done a dedicated guide on Dondozo already, so we're more focusing especially on Tatsugiri as itself here. So next set we can look at here, we got a pure Baton passer. So this set is kind of clever because we can pass on a Dragon Dance or a Nasty Plot to, you know, whatever Pokemon team member on our team. And we've also got Draco Meteor too. So say if you feel like I swapped it in there, but I don't feel confident I can get the pass off, then just go for Draco Meteor, do as much damage as possible, and the eject pack will eject you out of the matchup, and then you can swap it in later on and do your baton passing there. Storm Drain is the ability, max health and max speed there. We want a little bit more bulk if we're going to be setting things up like this, and we want a bit of speed too. So just another option you could use there as a mixed baton pass Pokemon. This is a Pipnite special here, an absolute Pipnite special. We've got a lead troll. So this one takes a fair bit of prediction skills to use there, and sort of knowing what the opponent is going to do and seeing team preview, making those sort of plays there. So with the moves Counter and Miracle, they're very powerful moves used in the right situation, but they can become very predictable. So you need to make sure you predict correctly, otherwise this set will be, you know, dead in the water very quickly. So this is going to be obviously used at the start because everyone's going to be setting up every entry hazard you could poke a stick at, so you'd be leading off with this. So the first thing you want to use is Protect. This is a great move on any Protect or Counter or Focus Sash set because it allows you to see what move the opponent is going to use for starters. So, you know, they might use Stealth Rock, they might be a physical or special attacker. You're going to use these, you're going to use this to gauge out what move to use, Counter or Mirror Coat. Now, if the opponent is just purely setting up and you doesn't really have any like powerful moves to use against you, you still got Surf to use. So that's what I'm going to be using here. You could use Hydro Pump as well. I just like Surf because it's not going to miss and you can get some guaranteed damage. But if you want to use Hydro Pump on there, be my guest, you can go ahead and use that. I've given this one Naive Nature and I've given this max speed, negative special defense. The IVs on this one actually don't pay attention to that. Like, the attack doesn't even matter, so that can be any number. But yeah, we've got 0 IVs in health, defense, and special defense. So this is important because you sort of want to have very, very low defense and special defense, like the lowest as possible. So if you can have 0 IVs in both of them, you can chain it along there as possible. You can do that. That way you'll get hit as hard as possible on the defense and special defensive side, respectively, when you want to use Counter or Mirror Coat. You could virtually have... I probably wouldn't put max health on this. Like, that's... You could do that, but even something low, random on health wouldn't really matter too much. There's mainly these ones here. But yeah, I've done naive because its special defense isn't too bad. So that's dropping it down a lot there, which is good. But yeah, this is a little option, little bit of a fun option, of course. This takes a fair bit of prediction, but I have used it and it's caught a lot of people off guard. Now, this is going to be the set, the special nasty plot sweeping set. You're going to see this the most in singles and stuff like that. I will talk about doubles and stuff, but mainly doubles is with Dondozo. You don't really use Tatsugiri outside of using Dondozo, but so more doubles talk there at the end, and I will touch briefly on Dondozo for sure, but mainly if you want to check that out, the Dondozo guide has all that. Next up, we've got a physical sweeper here. So Tatsugiri can be a physical sweeper. It does get Dragon Dance, however, it is kind of limited. So let's go over that. So we've got Outrage as the most powerful Dragon type move. So I probably wouldn't be using this if there's any Fairy types. You can sort of want to get them out the way. And yeah, any Steel types, well, you at least have Terra Water to use. So you go Terra Water. It doesn't really matter what ability you have here. None of them are going to be good. Storm Drain is going to give you a water immunity. That's probably the only use out of that. And I've given it Facade as well. So that's another way if you do get statused by like a Will-O-Wisp or Toxic, you can go for at least a double base power Facade there. And yeah, as you can see, it's a very, very terrible physical attacker. But on Pinbite's channel, we like to cover all move options here. So I've given it Adam Nature because... let's be real, it kind of needs it, and with the Dragon Dance, that's going to fix its, obviously me running Jolly instead of... That's going to fix up its speed a little bit, and its attack. So, there you go, a physical set. We've got Person Berry here as well. Once it is using Outrage, and maybe you'll get a KO if it does get confused, the Person Berry will come into effect and cure off the confusion. Instead of using Lumberry, which could be used up there against Toxic or something like that, you've got Person Berry, so it's absolutely only there for the confusion. So that's why I've gone ahead and chosen that item. Next set, it does get a interesting... This is a bit of a trolling set, but had a bit of fun with this one. This actually is a Soak set. So Soak is a really unique sort of move here. So what it does, it changes the user's type to water. So whatever you use it on, it'll be turned into a water type, which then sort of opens up a Terra Electric sort of option there. So you go for Terra Blast Electric on the water type Pokemon for super effective. We've got Substitute there as well, and we've got Muddy Water, and we've got Bright Powder. So Muddy Water is there to drop the accuracy, because obviously to get this one going, you need to use Soak, then the move, then you need to use Soak again, and then the move on the next Pokemon, the next, stuff like that. So I thought, with a little bit of Bright Powder, a little bit of Salt there, you might be able to, get that sub up there and keep that sub up for a little bit, So a little bit of a fun troll set there. I did actually get this one to work against a couple of Pokemon. Obviously, your weakness there is it's going to, eventually you're going to take a lot of hits there. You can't keep getting Soak and... Can't keep using Soak and not getting hit, so yeah. That was like the only way around it was evasion, but Bright Powder and Muddy Water could give that a option there. Now, before I get to Dondozo, actually, we'll get to Dondozo. So that's pretty much it for Tatsugiri. It's kind of limited if you're just using Tatsugiri alone. The best set you're going to see there is going to be a Nasty Plot Special Sweeping set. That's going to be the most common set. As for... you could do another set here too. While it's on my mind, I'm just going to say this. You could do a variant to this set here with Draco Meteor. That could be another option you could use there. It doesn't really get too many other things. It gets Icy Wind, which isn't all that good. It's more of like a doubles move there. Matter of fact, while I'm thinking about it, let's do a double set. So yeah, Special Sweeper, that's another option. A Jet Pack as well for Draco Meteor. So that's an option there if you want to use that in singles. As for doubles, it does get Muddy Water, which is quite good in doubles. Also, it does get Icy Wind, which is good too. And you could give a Draco Meteor and a Jetpack. That would still be kind of nice there too. Or you could give it Dragon Pulse. So that's another option you could give. Let's get rid of Jetpack. So we're sort of just making up a set here on the spot. Now, obviously, when you use it with Dondozo, or get into Dondozo in a sec there, obviously it's inside of Dondozo, inside of its mouth, so you can't do anything. But if you do get to a point where you don't have a Dondozo anymore, and you've got Tatsugiri left, this could still work. So we've got those moves there, which are pretty good. It also has Helping Hand too, so you could make it like a full support Pokemon. This could definitely still work in my opinion, so you could go for that. So you've got Muddy Water and you've got Icy Wind. So it's sort of a support Pokemon. Matter of fact, it's kind of so supportive. I probably wouldn't even worry about putting anything in special attack. I'd just go Timid Nature and Max Health. So that way you've got a bit of bulk. That way you can use Helping Hand, you know. So you've got that Helping Hand. So this would be good for another ally Pokemon. And, you know, you're dropping their speed, you're lowering accuracy, doing a bit of damage, and you've got like a Dragon Pulse there as well. As for item, well, I think you could just use Citrus Berry there. That could be an item you could use on here. If you're going for more of a sweeping set, you could go Life Orb as well. If you're not using Helping Hand, you could also make this bulky too. I'm thinking this could be a little option here. You could work. I'd keep with. I'd probably keep with a Commander. It depends if you're using a Dondozo. I'll explain Commander in a sec. But yes, say we weren't using Commander or whatever, you could go ahead and use this too. So this is like full-on support, you know, full force support. You've got Surf as well. That's another option over Muddy Water, so you could use that. And we've also got Chilling Water too, so that can be dropped. So this is like a fully supporting set. But most of the time, I'm going to tell you what most people are going to use is going to be the Dondozo sort of strategy. So let's go over Tatsugiri now. So Tatsugiri comes in 3 different forms. We've got the curly form, the droopy form, and the stretchy form. So here we go here. I don't think they've got... So we've got the droopy form here, which is the defensive stat. So let's go ahead with Dondozo. So when you do a doubles battle with Dondozo and Tatsugiri, the Tatsugiri is going to go inside of Dondozo's mouth when you send them out. Now, when that happens, the Dondozo will get a +2 in all of its stats. So it'll get a +2 in attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. So it's very, very powerful. Once again, if you want to see a full explanation of how this works, check out my Dondozo guide. I just wanted to do a brief little explanation. They make up a very good combination. But yeah, when you use them and you use Dondozo's move Order Up will depend on what sort of Tatsugiri, whether it's curly, droopy, and stretchy. So, say for example, it is droopy, that would give it a defensive stat by 1 stage. If it is a stretchy, that would give it a Dondozo a speed boost there by 1 after using Order Up. And if it was the very first one here, which was the curly one, that would give it an attack rise. So sort of what you want to do there. I have suggested a lot of Dondozo sets already, but we're just using, we're using Tatsugiri in this guide. Obviously, we want to have the Commander ability. Commander is the ability you want to be using with Dondozo. So if the ally is Dondozo, if it's your partner and you send them out, this Pokemon, the Tatsugiri, will go inside Dondozo's mouth. There'll be a little animation, and then it will not be able to attack. It will not be able to swap. And it won't be able to do anything. So essentially, it's just there as a component for Dondozo. So once the Dondozo is out of the picture, or if it faints or something like that, the Tatsugiri will be back there and you'll be able to use it and stuff like that. So, that's how the Commander ability works. So it's really all based around, being with Dondozo. But, if Dondozo does faint, you still want it to be able to do something, so you go with a special sweeping set. Even a doubles special sweeping set would work. You could make this one offensive too, so you could easily swap that around and make it an offensive sort of set there. With Nasty Plot, that would work too. But and then get rid of Assault Vest, of course. But yeah, that's how the Tatsugiri works. So that's how all the forms work. The curly form, the droopy, and the stretchy form. I don't think there's any other things. Was a cool strategy I did come up with there. I have done a Dondozo sweep if you want to check it out. I'm sure you already have if you've seen this before. But if you're a new viewer, check out Pimp Night Dondozo sweep. I did a cool little strategy here. Let me delete a couple of Pokemon. So I led with like an Electrode. I gave the Electrode Explosion just to get it off the field. I gave the Tatsugiri, I think a Flame Orb or something like that, or a Toxic Orb. It doesn't really matter as long as you put it on 1 health. So yeah, I had this with Endure. So turn 1, I used Explosion, got rid of the Electrode, did some good damage to the opponents. The opponents attacked me or did whatever they could there, and then the Tatsugiri was on 1 health. But since the Electrode had already exploded on that same turn, you could swap in the Dondozo and you'd have a form there of both these Pokemon, right? So that would give you a +2 on that very, very first turn, which is super, super unique. And then you could go for the Order Up there, and you could make use of Tatsugiri for that turn. And then the Tatsugiri would actually faint inside Dondozo the next turn. due to the Toxic Orb, and then you can send another Pokemon out. Normally, if you've got a Dondozo and Tatsugiri on the field at the same time, you can't send any Pokemon out there because, you know, that's the combination. That's how the thing works. But this is a little way to get around it. So you can send like another support Pokemon in. What I did is I sent in lots of support. Let me give you an idea here. I sent out like a Pinchurchin, and this was a Lightning Rod set. And with that, I sort of drawed in all the electric type moves. So with the Dondozo and Pinchurchin there, it was pretty hard to take out. So you only had to worry about grass type Pokemon. And, you know, you could make this into like Dondozo. I've done so many builds on it that you could make it into like a physical set. So I'm not going to go too much into Dondozo there. But yeah, that's what I did with Tatsugiri. And that's how you go about using Tatsugiri and Dondozo and doubles. More in depth. Check out the guide that I've done for that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Tatsugiri. There's not too many other things you could use for it. I'm just going to do a final sort of little checkup here. Like to use every sort of strategy we can. So we've got... Okay, so some of the moves it does have, it does have a lot of these. We've gone over that. It does have Rain Dance too. I don't think you can really make too much use of that apart from just setting up the rain, which, you know, other Pokemon can do, like Pelipper could do already. Maybe you could use it on a rain team with Pelipper. I'm not sure that could work with its special moves here. There's not too much else you can use there. So I think that's about it. I don't want to, like, don't really want to go on about Dondozo because this guide's not about that. And yeah, that's pretty much for Tatsugiri. I've done a full sort of analysis on everything. Told you what each form does. Basically, the forms are only going to be working with Dondozo and the Commander ability, so that you don't have to worry about that. But if you're using it outside of Dondozo, say singles, or just it's by itself in your doubles battle, go with a special sweeper, like a bulky set, like we already discussed there, and you could even try and pass some stats off. But that is about it for Tatsugiri. I hope you enjoyed this one, people. I'll be back tomorrow with, I've got a theme team tomorrow and another guide, I'm pretty sure. All right, peace out.